Facebook outage impacted a lot of people across the world, and let's try to understand what actually happened. And I will take you through the technicalities in a very simplified way as much as possible. Exactly at 1658 UTC on October 4th, the DNS names stopped resolving for Facebook.com, Instagram, and WhatsApp. So all these three products went down completely and it was out of radar. Facebook has a lot of products in it, like Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram, Oculus, and so on. And these four are the major players which are being used by a lot of people. So this Facebook outage impacted a lot of people. I mean, in the sense, majorly on WhatsApp, Messenger, and Instagram, because prominently most people use this as a means of their business and to communicate with their customers and so on. It's not only a platform where they simply share photos or videos, but it also helped a few in running their business. So this was a major setback for them, and we will try to understand what actually happened behind this. Basically, we have internet connection across the world. So every nook and corner is being connected against multiple devices, and internet now is kind of more like a water running in the pipeline. So that being said, we know essentially how a post office works. So normally, internet involves sending data packets, right? In a similar way, let us consider an example of a post office, where if you want to mail a letter to a recipient, you'll have to put the letter in the mailbox so that the postman will come and collect it and take it to a nearby post office branch in the area and segregated according to the pin code, according to the address, and finally delivers to the recipient. So this is a kind of elaborated process in a very simplified way. So this happens very fast. So the objective here is to reduce the time and make it faster as much as possible. On a in a similar way, routers, autonomous systems, and BGP act in the same way. So BGP is essentially Border Gateway Protocol. It essentially maintains the internet and keeps it running. So it's a protocol that is adhered and uh, practiced by autonomous systems. So autonomous systems here is similar to a post office branch, and those autonomous systems are huge, and there are so many autonomous, say about 64,000 autonomous units across the globe. So autonomous systems are more like a body where a number of routers are present. So these routers can be considered as mailboxes. Okay. And the delivery is nothing but the data that is being transited across the globe. So basically, if you take the analogy of postal service, this can be easily understood in a way like the Border Gateway Protocol is the biggest postal delivery system that is being run and maintained, and there are so many interconnected autonomous systems that practice this, that adhere to this Border Gateway Protocol, so that the data is efficiently transferred from one place to another in a very faster way. So the goal here for the BGP is to hop through these autonomous systems so that the data is transferred in a very fastest way. So that is the objective here. Autonomous systems are a part of the huge network. So internet is a network of networks. So it comprises of a lot of small networks, and those small networks are nothing but autonomous systems. So essentially, these autonomous systems has a lot of dependencies. Say like the Border Gateway Protocol. Essential thing here is the autonomous systems has to pass the routing information between them, so that it will have a concrete idea of what is the fastest way to choose and transfer the data. It consistently updates the route, so it maintains a route log where a complete list of IP addresses are maintained. So what essentially happen is that every autonomous system will have a unique number called ASN, okay? And it has a unique routing policy. There are something called originate prefixes, in the sense it has a list of group of IPs that is being controlled by them. And there is another thing called transit prefixes, which means those are the list of IPs which can be reached by them. Okay. So essentially it maintains the list of IPs that are in its governance. Okay. And this is the major functionality of any autonomous system. And autonomous system nodes should always announce their prefix routes, else no one will know what actually is trying to communicate. Say, for example, Facebook is a bigger entity. It has to establish itself. It has to register itself in the plethora of networks. Among the plethora of networks, only then the system will know how to reach to Facebook. So only then it will know how to send packets to Facebook, how to receive packets from Facebook. So consistently, any autonomous system has to advertise itself in order for the network to know its presence. So there is a decision hierarchy diagram which shows how the data essentially travels from the start to end. So here the traverse path is from AS1 to AS3. There are two options here. So the BGP will apply the protocol and the autonomous system will act accordingly. So the BGP will choose the fastest path, which is nothing but AS1 to AS3. And if in case there are some traffic or there are some bottleneck situation, the alternative path of AS1 via AS6, 5, 4, and 3 will be opted. So this is a typical decision making diagram of BGP, but this is a very infinitesimally small part of it. There are hundreds and millions of decision making going on in a very fastest way. Any autonomous system should have to advertise itself in the net on the network, say like Facebook or Cloudflare or any other body that is participating should advertise itself on the network. Only then the networks will know it's actually present. And the DNS resolver should be able to reach to the IP address. So we'll see what is the DNS resolver and what it is, and also the routing information, which is basically nothing but the communication between the autonomous system. So it should have a list of all routes that are traversable. So all these three are essential in order to keep the service up and running. To put it in a very simple way, DNS lookup is more of a yellow pages book, where it's IP address is more complicated. You can't remember IP addresses of all the domains. Like, say for example, if Facebook has got their own IP address in terms of 192 dot something dot something dot something. So every digit after the dot will represent a location. So it is kind of hard to keep in memory. So that is why we wrapped up with a naming system, wherein it will be easy for anyone to catch hold of that name. They don't need to carry on the heavy task of remembering the numbers. So the DNS resolver in turn will unravel it and pick out the proper IP address, go there and fetch the data. That is what the DNS resolver will do. So if basically what it does is it will reach the name server, get the data, and pull it to us and give us the data. So in order to avoid, say for example, if you are in India and you want to access a site in which is hosted in US or somewhere, it's a bit long. It's far, like the travel time is far, right? So in order to make it short, it is cached. Okay, the DNS resolver will cache it. So what happens here is, if at all it is unable to look in the cache, it will reach out to the name server and get the relevant data. So that is what DNS resolver will basically do. Entire discussion is completely available in the Cloudflare blog, whose link have been provided in the description. You can feel free to go there and read this completely. So this video is mainly to simplify what is actually written in the blog and give you as a video content. So exactly at 15:40 UTC on October 4th, there was a peak of routing changes by Facebook. Normally, any concern or any entity, any organization won't do that much of updates, but still, it might be a malfunction or a technical error. There was a major update, peak of update going on the routing information. Essentially, if bad routes or if some routes has been uh, tampered or something has happened in the routing information, it will distribute across the network, and that is where it created a catastrophe of events, and the DNS resolver failed to look up, and the entire system got halted, and all the routes were withdrawn, and the DNS service went offline. So even if the DNS resolver tried to pull it up from cache, it was not reachable, and it tried to reach the name server, and it was not reachable then. So all of this was completely cut, and there was no access to any of the services from Facebook, like WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, and so on. So now we might essentially understand what actually went wrong. So it's all in the routing information, which is underlying in the autonomous system. So uh, here is where autonomous system play an important role. So Facebook as an autonomous system had some error in the routing log and the routing information, which completely took them off the track, and it completely went dark. The Facebook outage also caused a side effect. It's not like it was only affected, but it also caused a ripple effect, I would say. So there are two things here. One is the application behavior and the human behavior. The spike that you would have seen in the graph was literally huge, right? So here in the graph, you could see like there was more than 0x, there was 30x more queries on the websites. So normally in an application per se, so there are some retrial mechanisms in every application, which whenever there is a request failure or a response failure, it will always retry and keep on retrying until the objective is met. So that is the application part. So the human part is where they don't want to miss out something, FOMO or whatever we call it. We keep on retrying. So someone is on their social feed, they are consistently scrolling down, and if they couldn't see something, they keep on refreshing it, or be it hitting the website service or anything. So our constant retrials made the traffic huge, and it kind of bottlenecked the entire situation. So this is the human behavior and application behavior that added up as a side effect. It also impacted other services as well. So, in terms of Twitter, a lot of people were uh, going to Twitter, and all the traffic was, they all assembled in Twitter. They started discussing on this, and of course, there were some meme party going on, and it created a huge traffic as well, because it's not normal for Twitter to handle such a traffic as in on a single day, where other social media platforms were down. So the whole bunch of people who just opened a Twitter account just for the sake of creating an account, and suddenly come in here and dabble around it, was kind of uh, painstaking for Twitter as well. And not only Twitter, even Telegram and Signal, and people come to conclusions, right? So when something is not available for quite some hour, say 5 to 6 hours, and they eventually start looking out for alternative options. So this is what happened as a entire story of Facebook outage, and at last at 21:28 UTC time, Facebook got reconnected itself to the global internet, and it was available from then. It slowly picked up, and everyone is now able to use it across the world. Thank you for watching this video. Do subscribe and hit the bell button. Stay tuned for all technical videos that are coming up shortly. Thanks to Cloudflare for a detailed blog on what actually happened as a part of Facebook outage. Check out the description below and head to the blog and read the complete article.